Sitting here with Callum Cleary, we just talked with Dylan Dench, who's a local guy. You know, the great thing about the game of soccer is it's the beautiful game. It's the world's game. So you're not local, you know.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of your background, where you are, where you're from, and you know why you're sitting here today.
I was born in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Played soccer there growing up. Lived there for about 16 years, and then went to a boarding school to play more soccer in Thailand. And then as soon as I finished my high school, I decided to come out to America to play college soccer. Did 3 years in Notre Dame College in Cleveland. Unfortunately, it shut down, and then recently joined my CS in the fall, and happy to be here. So I played with Dylan last fall, and to find out he got a head coach job, and he wanted me to be on his team, I signed up straight away. So.
Good man.
Yeah.
So you're an interesting story because your mother is
From Singapore.
Singapore and your dad is from Ireland.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're half Irish.
Half Irish. Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
So I've always said that there's not a good Commodores team unless there's an Irish guy or two on there. So you know you fit that bill. So thank you for that. Talk to us a little bit about Erie, being in Erie. Obviously you were at Notre Dame, Ohio. You transferred into Erie, played last season, had a great year. You were part of this whole transition to D1. Now you're jumping on board with the Commodores for the summer, and I think it's ultimately your goal is to go on and play professionally, and you have some irons in the fire to that after this experience. So talk a little bit about that.
So Erie, first off, I think is a wonderful little city, especially in the fall when I first came in. Trainings were wonderful, and then outside of football as well, to get to know the lads, we'd go into town and stuff, and like by the water, by the beach. It was wonderful.
Tough winter though.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
I was about to get in. It's not like
Yeah.
Malaysia back home. I mean, in Cleveland, the winters were tough, but this was by far the worst I've experienced. Can't really say I'm a fan of the winter, to be fair.
None of us are. You talked there a little bit about the players and the lads, right? I mean, it's always a tremendously important part of what we do on the field, off the field, is the teammates and the camaraderie, and that goes along and getting chemistry right so teams can be successful. What do you think it means? I mean, we talked Dylan Dench, local guy, so now he's going to grow and he's going to learn by hanging out with guys from Malaysia. We have Spanish on the team, we have French on the team, we have Norwegian, we have South African, there's a lot of different parts of the country that are represented, or parts of the world that are represented on there. So what does that mean to you, to be able to kind of feel the local flavour but have a kind of an international setting on top of that?
I think it's really important because it just, everyone comes from different cultures and stuff, so you get to learn a bit of things off, let's say Dylan from Erie and a lad from France, like the way they behave or the way they play on the field. And I think that plays into like how you be successful as a team. And
I think that's always been interesting at this level, because we have the ability to bring players in and house players for the summer. We get a melting pot lots of times, and I can tell you're the first person from Kuala Lumpur to play from the Commodores, that's for sure. But
yeah.
I think it's important to give that, and I think when we go out into the community and do things, and do some camps and do some clinics and do some work with underprivileged kids, they see that a lot of people are like them and sometimes came from same backgrounds as them. They were fortunate enough to get scholarships to the States, to go to college, to play soccer, and go on from there. So I think there's a lot that we can do as an organisation, as a club, to give back, so as, we can just all be better, and the game of soccer is definitely helping us with that. Obviously then, we talked about your career, and you're going to leave here sometime at the end of the summer and try and push on and play pro. So tell us about where you'd like to go, who you've been in contact with, and how Commodores is going to help you to achieve that.
So yeah, obviously I just graduated in the fall, and I was kind of a bit unsure what I was going to do next, thinking like, should I keep playing soccer or just kind of let it go? And I think obviously I gave myself a week, but I'm sure many people can agree on this. Once you stop, you're like, I need to get back to it. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm trying to keep going, and at this rate, because as I mentioned, my dad was Irish. I've got the Irish passport, so I'm hoping to hopefully land something in Ireland this summer. So obviously the Commodores here at MPSL, as you mentioned before, it's the top pre-professional level in the States.
Yeah.
So what better way to get myself in shape and keep fit before I go out.
Before you take off, and,
Yeah.
and hopefully you'll call us and tell us you've signed a big contract, and we can watch you play in the future. We're only a couple of days into pre-season, but you would have known. I mean, there's Mercier's guys there, there's Barron guys there, there's Gannon guys there that you would have seen and know of. So what's your sense heading into pre-season? I mean, what's your sense of obviously we have a new coach. He's learning his trade as well, so we have to all help him with that too. So, but tell us about what you see so far.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's a couple of Mercier's guys that I already know, so it's always good to have like people but it's also great to meet new people, especially like you mentioned the Gannon guys, like playing against them, but to finally actually meet them and play with them is a good experience as well, to see what they're kind of doing just 10 minutes down the road.
For more information on the Commodores, to come watch these lads play, eriecommodores.com has schedule, ticketing. It's a good night out, it's a good experience. There's food, there's drink, there's good concessions, and you'll see a level of soccer in this town that you haven't seen before. So we look forward to seeing you at some matches.